everybody. Welcome to our podcast series on Gen Z questions today. The topic is Hinduism. This is a question and answer session between Cindy and Hindu Guruji.
Hello, Guruji. My first question is what inspired you to do this podcast?
Om Shanti, Namaste. Let there be peace everywhere. I noticed that the younger generation does not know much about Hinduism. They don't know what Sanatana Dharma is. To help them learn the basic concepts, I decided to create short podcasts on this subject by combining my own knowledge with the findings of my research.
As Gen Z, where do we begin understanding Hinduism?
I'll try to simplify Hinduism concepts and make them more relatable. Hinduism is also known as Sanatana Dharma or Eternal Dharma. The core concept in Hinduism is karma, and everything is related to it. According to Hinduism, we are encouraged to do karma according to Dharma to attain moksha.
Tell us more about karma, dharma, and moksha.
Karma is our action and inaction. It is the concept of cause and effect. The idea is that if we do something, there is a consequence to it, whether the karma is good or bad, harmful or harmless. It does not matter whether you were aware of it. Every karma will have a consequence that can show up immediately or at a much later time. Effects can show up in later generations or in later lives. Dharma means duty and destiny. It also entails rules, laws of nature, code of conduct, and discipline. It indicates that there is a certain destiny everybody is born with, and we have to know about it or figure it out. Then we must follow it, and that is the easiest way of living this life. We need to figure out why we are born, what our goals in life are, and what our role in society is. Once we find the answers to these questions, we must march ahead in our own path without hesitation. We will then find peace and life will be much better for us. Moksha is liberation, or more specifically, liberation from the cycle of rebirth. Hence, liberation from the cycle of suffering. It is also the ultimate state of bliss.
How can we find out which karmas are good and which ones are bad?
There are scriptures that tell us what good and bad karmas are. There are stories in epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata that show us examples of good and bad karma. Hinduism emphasizes on figuring it all out by learning, pursuing knowledge, introspection, contemplation, and self-search.
How do we find out what our dharma is?
In Hinduism, if we follow Dharma, we will be able to live well in this material world. We will get artha, or wealth, and artha lets us experience kama, or pleasure. Once all material things are attained, and our karma is complete, we are better prepared to leave this world and go towards moksha. We may be reborn if our karma is not complete. In Hinduism, we believe it takes millions of rebirths to fully get out of this cycle of rebirths to finally attain moksha.
What is God in Hinduism?
Brahman is the closest equivalent of the concept of God. Brahman is not a deity, but it is the ultimate truth. It is known by the sound Om. All Hindu gods are manifestations of Brahman. The demigods are reincarnations of those manifestations. Each demigod represents attributes around us that are important for our worldly existence.
How do you explain the stereotypical concepts of cow worship, caste system, idol worship, multiple gods, reincarnation, and vegetarianism?
In ancient India, cow's milk was the primary source of nutrition for the masses apart from the many benefits of the cow's milk. The cow itself is seen as a very benevolent and friendly animal, similar to how we keep dogs as pets these days. Cows became a part of the family and home. Further, similar to how the people of some countries consume dogs while others don't, Hindus don't eat cows while other people do. The caste system is actually a community identification system stratified during the British rule in India. Caste can also be called professional guilds, where people formed communities around their common profession. People misinterpret caste as Varna. Varna is mentioned in Hindu scriptures. Caste is never mentioned in any Hindu scriptures. Varna and caste are two different things. Varna in Sanskrit means flavor or color. Every individual is born with a mix of these different flavors. These flavors represent our innate skills and potential role in society. Varna was used to identify a child's role in the society, and it was a system of division of labor. Each Varna was skilled in their own field of work and was responsible for upholding that important facet in order for society to function as a whole. No Varna was considered better or worse than the other. In Rig Veda, the first Veda, Purusha Sukta verse 10:90-12, it is clearly mentioned that all Varnas are part of the Purusha. Purusha is Vishnu, and Vishnu is all of us, because God resides in all of us. Also in Gita, Krishna said that all Varnas are gunas, qualities that are all present in him. Castes, also called jatis or communities, may have arisen out of Varnas over time because people started forming their own professional guilds and communities. People in similar or the same profession stayed together. This phenomenon is seen even today in every religious group and in every society. Caste-based distinction is not different from region or religion-based distinction. In fact, caste-based discrimination is banned in India. Moreover, Indian government has provided financial help, education, and job reservation to the underprivileged castes ever since independence in 1947. Moving forward, people need to know the difference between the word caste and Varna and move away from these community-based segregation. They must also move away from region-based segregation as well as religion-based segregation, if possible, and they should come together under a reconciled common dharma. Idols are a representation of Hindu gods. They exist because it is easy on our brain to relate to the gods. Human beings have limitations in our senses, and we need idols as a medium just like we need books, audios, and videos to tell us stories exactly because of this limitation. Further, Hindu gods are simply manifestations of Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality and the ultimate truth in Hinduism. The main Hindu gods, Shiva, Vishnu, and Shakti, are manifestations of Brahman. As for reincarnation, Hindus are actively seeking to escape and free oneself from the cycle of death and rebirth through good karma. This freedom is characterized by the soul joining back with Brahman. In the foremost Hindu scripture called Vedas, there are prayers offered to every being and every element around us prior to the start of any ritual. Every Hindu god and goddesses have an animal as their companion.
Hinduism claimed to be the one and only true religion?
No, not at all. On the contrary, Hinduism may be the only religion that is pluralistic and inclusive. It accepts the fact that there are many ways to attain moksha or to realize God. Within Hinduism, there are darshanas, or views, which often disagree with each other on these different paths. Hindu openness also can be a problem for Hindus when they come in contact with religions that are exclusive and discriminatory. Hopefully, the Hindu concept of inclusivity can pervade all religions to achieve world peace.
How do you reconcile science with Hinduism?
Hinduism came into being very organically. It is one of the most ancient religions still practiced today. It has all the elements of ancient science in it. It does not have an originator or founder. Its foundation scripture is the Vedas. Vedas were composed by many sages, rishis, and philosophers. These venerated souls spent their lifetime in research, meditation, contemplation, and also spiritual messages to come up with the Vedas. Hence, we can safely say that it is one of the original sources of modern science. We cannot ignore that fact. If we do, we will lose the context from where modern science began. We will lose information necessary for uncovering deeper truths about the world. Morality comes from collective human experience over generations, but to make it believable and enforceable, scriptures from religious books play a big role. Without common moral codes, humans cannot easily trust each other. Trust is essential for a cooperative, productive, and peaceful society. Religion establishes trust amongst its followers. When everyone knows that there are greater good, and they all believe in karma, they can begin to trust each other. This trust enables people to come together and build a cooperative, collaborative, and peaceful society. Trust is a cornerstone in human civilization, and it is underpinned by the belief in karma, God, and belief in the greater good.
Is religion important in the modern world?
Yes, for multiple reasons. Religions, especially Hindu Dharma, are ancient science that originated when our ancestors were still figuring out the world and the universe. We have not fully understood everything about the world and the universe. Science is an ongoing journey. Religion and science must go hand in hand with each other. Religion attempts at answering questions when science has not figured things out. Religion-based answers are akin to scientific hypotheses. Once things are proven beyond doubt, those hypotheses become scientific facts. But again, science can contradict itself when newer evidence is found. Science takes time in figuring things out, whereas religion takes a stab at things based on human observation, experiences, and intuition, and enables humanity to make progress. Which is why science and religion need to coexist. Both are very important for humanity and for intelligent minds. Which is why you'll find that many great scientists in the past had kept religion as their personal guide.